I never thought I'd end up in handcuffs on my own damn property, but that's exactly where I was when the sirens wailed through the pines like a bad country song gone wrong. The cop who slapped the steel on my wrist was the same guy who'd fished with my granddad back in the day, and he looked at me like I'd just confessed to stealing his ex-wife's heart. All because some entitled bitch in pearls decided my dream cabin was her personal affront to suburbia, and she dialed AAA on me faster than you can say HOA violation. What she didn't know, what nobody in that godforsaken gated community knew, was that the riverfront she'd been lording over like her private kingdom had been in my family since before her McMansion was a blueprint. And when I decided to build, I wasn't asking permission. I was taking back what's mine, one nail at a time. The call came on a Tuesday, the kind of crisp fall morning in upstate New York where the leaves crunch under your boots like they're applauding your every step. I'd been up since dawn, coffee black as my mood, sketching out the final touches on my cabin plans. Not some Taj Mahal monstrosity. No, this was going to be simple. Log walls, a wraparound porch for watching the loons dive at sunset, and a dock that stretched right into the glassy water of Willow Lake. My slice of heaven, pieced together from the inheritance Dad left me after the mill closed, and he finally let the cancer win. Build it, son, he'd rasped from that hospice bed. Build it and forget all this bullshit. Bullshit like the Willow Ridge Homeowners Association, that pack of busybodies who turned our sleepy lakeside hollow into a Stepford Wives' wet dream. Gated entrances with keycard scanners, covenants thicker than a tax code, and fines for letting your grass hit an inch over 2. I'd grown up roughing it in the old family shack a mile back from the water, but when the developers swooped in a decade ago, they bought up everything except the riverfront strip grandpa deeded to the county for public access, except it wasn't public. It was ours, buried in some easement no one bothered to read. I was hammering the first stake into the ground when the first busybody showed up. Not Karen, not yet. It was her minion, a wiry guy named Todd with a clipboard and a polo shirt stretched tight over his beer gut. Sir, he started, all official-like. You can't just erect structures here. This is restricted waterfront. HOA bylaws, section 4.2. Save it. I cut him off, wiping sweat from my brow with the back of my hand. I'm Jake Harlan, 38, ex-Marine, now a freelance carpenter who fixes other people's messes for a living. Broad shoulders from hauling lumber, calluses like armor, and a stare that's dropped bigger men than Todd. This ain't HOA land. Check the deed. He did, or pretended to, fumbling with his phone. Says here it's a shared easement. Community property. I laughed, a bark that echoed off the water. Shared with who? The loons? Read the fine print, pal. Harlan family holds title. Been that way since 1923. Todd's face went the color of overripe tomatoes. He muttered something about escalating and scurried back to his golf cart, kicking up gravel like a scolded dog. I figured that was the end of it. Wrong. By noon, the email started pinging. Unauthorized construction. Immediate cessation required. Violation of aesthetic guidelines. I ignored them, same as I ignored the drone that buzzed overhead like an annoying mosquito, probably one of the neighbors spying from their $1 million decks. Let him watch. This was my therapy, my middle finger to the corporate grind I'd escaped 5 years back. No more suits, no more boardrooms. Just me, the lake, and the satisfaction of building something that lasted. That's what she rolled up. A gleaming black Escalade, tires humming on the access road like it owned the asphalt, which in her mind, it probably did. Outstepped Karen Voss, CEO of Voss Dynamics, some tech firm peddling apps for rich assholes to track their wine cellars or whatever. I'd seen her face plastered on the local chamber of commerce billboards. Sharp chin, ice blue eyes, hair shellacked into a helmet of authority. But up close, she was a tank in Lululemon, obese, sure, but carrying it like a badge of, I've earned this body through stress-eating board meetings. Her blouse strained at the buttons, pearls the size of gumdrops dangling like warnings. She looked like the kind of woman who'd sue a waitress for serving decaf by accident. Mr. Harlan? Her voice was all boardroom bark, laced with that fake sweet southern drawl she'd probably picked up at some Ivy League finishing school. I'm Karen Voss, president of the Willow Ridge HOA. We need to talk. I lean on my shovel, mud caking my jeans. Talks cheap, ma'am. I'm building. On communal property. She thrust a sheaf of papers at me, her manicured nails like talons. This riverfront is for the enjoyment of all residents. Your shack, she sneered the word like it tasted bad, violates every covenant we've fought to uphold. Tear it down or face legal action. I scan the docs. Blurry scans of bylaws, highlighted in pink like a sorority girl's notes. Lady, you deaf? I told Todd, this is Harlan land. Survey says so. You want to lawyer up? Be my guest. I'll bring the original deed from my grandpa's safe. Her lips thinned into a slash. Surveys can be wrong, and as HOA president, I have the authority. To what? Call the health department on my outhouse. I chuckled, but there was steel in it. Look, Karen, I get it. You and your McMansion brigade like your view pristine. But this ain't your playground. It's mine. She drew herself up, chin jutting like a battleship prow. This community stands for something. Standards. Order. People like you, outsiders, come in and ruin it with your rustic delusions. The word dripped disdain, her eyes flicking over my flannel shirt like it was roadkill. Outsider. That stung, but I swallowed it. Born here, raised here, fought for this country while she was probably interning at Daddy's firm. Standards, huh? Like finding old Mrs. Jenkins last summer for her bird feeders? Or that petition to evict the single mom because her kids' toys were unsightly? Her flush was epic, creeping up her neck like lava. Those were necessary measures for property values. And if you think, I cut her off again. Save the speech. Build starting tomorrow. You got a problem. Take it to court. I turned back to my stakes, dismissing her like yesterday's news. She stood there sputtering for a full minute, pearls clacking as she clenched her fists. Then, with a huff that could power a turbine, she stormed back to her SUV. This isn't over, Mr. Harlan. Mark my words. I marked them all right. But what I didn't mark was how deep her claws went. By evening, my inbox was a war zone. Complaints from neighbors I hadn't seen since high school. Threats of liens, even a cease and desist from some lawyer in Albany. I poured a whiskey, Dad's old bottle, dusty from the shelf, and sat on the tailgate of my truck, watching the sun dip into the lake like a coin in a well. Revenge? Nah, not yet. This was just the opening salvo. Little did I know, Karen Voss played dirty. Dirtier than a fox in a henhouse. The next morning, I showed up with a crew, 3 buddies from my Marine days, all burly types with tool belts and zero patience for bureaucrats. We had the foundation forms up by lunch, concrete truck rumbling in like reinforcements. The air smelled of wet earth and possibility, the kind that makes a man feel alive. Laughter echoed as we bullshitted about old deployments, the lake lapping at our boots like an old friend. Then the cops arrived. Not one, but 2 cruisers, lights flashing, but no sirens yet. Outstepped Officer Ramirez, the one who'd fished with Granddad, and his partner, a rookie with a mustache that screamed overcompensating. Ramirez took one look at me and groaned. Jake, what the hell, man? Boss lady says you're trespassing. Armed and dangerous, even armed. I spread my hands, hammer dangling from one. With this? And dangerous to what? Her property values. The rookie smirked, but Ramirez waved him off. She called 911, Jake. Twice. Claims you're building an illegal structure and threatening her. Got a recording of you barking at her. I barked a laugh. Barking? I told her to lawyer up. That's not a threat. That's advice. They cuffed me anyway. Protocol, Ramirez muttered, looking sorry about it for disturbing the peace while they verified the property line. My crew stood down, hands up like it was a raid, as the rookie poked around the site. Karen, of course, was there in the flesh, perched on her golf cart like a vulture, phone in hand, live streaming the whole thing to the HOA Facebook group. See, everyone, this is what happens when we let riffraff invade our sanctuary. Riffraff. That's when the rage simmered low in my gut, hot as poured lead. Ramirez uncuffed me 20 minutes later. Deed checks out, ma'am. Harlan owns it free and clear, but the damage was done. Neighbors gawked from their decks, whispers rippling like wind on water. My crew packed up, morale shot, and I spent the afternoon alone, prying up forms I'd just set, the concrete hardening like my resolve. That night, over beers at the local dive, Hank's Tap, where the jukebox still spun Johnny Cash, I vented to Ramirez off duty. She's unhinged, man. CEO my ass. More like chief entitlement officer. He nodded, nursing a bud. Karen Voss? Yeah, she's a piece of work. Husband left her for the yoga instructor last year. Messy divorce. Now she runs the HOA like her personal fiefdom. Fined half the board for insubordination last month. I filed that away, the whiskey loosening my tongue. What's her angle? Why fight so hard over a strip of dirt? Control, Jake. Always control. And rumor has it, she's got her eye on developing that waterfront herself. Condos or some crap. Your cabin's blocking her view. And her wallet. The pieces clicked. Not just busybody bullshit. Greed, pure and simple. I drained my glass, the bitter hop aftertaste mirroring the twist in my chest. Betrayed? By a town I bled for? Nah, but revenge? That seed took root right there, under the neon buzz of Hank's sign. By week's end, the cabin was half up, walls framed, roof sheathing nailed tight. I'd gone solo, working till my hands blistered, ignoring the fresh batch of violation notices taped to my truck. Karen escalated, of course. Petitions circulated. Save our shoreline from Harlan's eyesore. Anonymous tips to the zoning board. Even a noise complaint when I fired up the generator at 7 a.m. sharp. Legal hours, but who cared to her? Then came the real gut punch. A letter from the county assessor, prompted by resident concerns. They were reviewing my deed, questioning the easement language. Potential overlap with HOA claims, it read. Overlap my ass. It was a stall tactic bought with Voss money. I could smell it. I drove to the assessor's office in Syracuse, a squat brick building that reeked of stale coffee and despair. The clerk, a harried woman named Gladys with cat-eye glasses, pulled the file. Harlan, you said? Looks solid. But there's a notation. Some developer inquiry from Voss Dynamics last spring. Developer? My voice dropped an octave. She nodded, tapping yellowed pages. They wanted to buy the waterfront for a resort project. Offered top dollar. Your family declined. Said it was held in trust. Trust. Grandpa's trust for family use only. And now Karen, slimy as she was trying to worm around it. I thanked Gladys, slipped her a coffee card. On me for the truth. And peeled out, knuckles white on the wheel. Back home, I pored over the old docks by lantern light. The cabin had power lines run, but I was off-grid till I said otherwise. There was the full plat map, Grandpa's signature scrawled like a dare. The riverfront wasn't just mine. It was the entire eastern shore, a half-mile stretch the HOA access road illegally snaked through. They'd built their precious gate right on Harlan gravel, grading it with my dirt. The betrayal burned now, not just personal, historical. This town, my town, sold out to strangers while I was dodging IEDs in Fallujah. And Karen? She was the face of it, plump and poisonous. I started digging, metaphorically, hired a surveyor buddy for cheap, pulled records from the county vault. By Monday, I had proof. Photos of the encroachment, affidavits from old-timers who'd seen the original surveys. But I held back. No point rushing. Let her squirm. She did. Tuesday brought the protest. 10 Karens in training picketing my site with signs. Harlan hoax. Not in our lake. Chance of build it elsewhere. And one particularly vile go back to the trailer park. I stood on my half porch, arms crossed, filming it all on my phone. Smile for the gram, ladies. This goes viral. Karen led the charge, megaphone in hand, her face a mask of righteous fury. This man is destroying our community's fabric. Call your councilman. Demand justice. Justice. The word twisted in my gut. As the crowd swelled, gawkers turning to joiners, I spotted Ramirez in the mix, shaking his head. Later, at Hank's, he slid me a beer. She's rallying the troops. Even got the local news sniffing around. Let him come, I said, clinking bottles. I've got aces up my sleeve. And I did. But playing the mint going nuclear. Meaner than she'd ever been. The surveyor's report dropped Thursday. A bombshell in PDF form. HOA overreach, illegal fencing, even their beloved dock, built on my submerged land. I could have filed immediately, slapped them with injunctions till their wallets wept. But where's the fun in that? Instead, I invited Karen over. Truce talk, my note read. Left on her doorstep with a six-pack of her fancy IPA, spotted in her recycling bin. Porch, 7 p.m. bring your bylaws. She came, alone, in a pantsuit that screamed negotiation armor. The cabin smelled of fresh pine and sawdust, lanterns casting warm glows on the rough beams. I poured her a beer, played host. Sit, let's hash this. She perched on the edge of my sawhorse stool, eyes darting like she expected an ambush. Well, what's your proposal, Mr. Harlan? Simple. I slid the report across the plank table. You drop the bullshit. Admit the truth. Or I go public, press conference, social media storm, the works. Your resort dreams? Dead in the water. Her eyes widened, scanning the pages. The color drained from her cheeks, leaving her looking like a deflated balloon. This can't be. Our lawyers said. Your lawyer's on retainer from Voss Dynamics. Conflict of interest, Karen. Real cute. She slammed the report down, beer sloshing. You think you can blackmail me? I'm a CEO. I crush insects like you for breakfast. Insects. There was the mask slipping. I leaned in, voice low. Crush away. But when the headlines hit, HOA queen squats on poor vet's land. Your board seat? Gone. Your TED Talk invites? Vapor. And that divorce settlement you're bleeding your ex for? Lawyers love ammunition. She stood, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. You bastard. This is extortion. Nah, justice. I smiled, slow and sure. Clock's ticking. 24 hours. She stormed out, Escalade kicking gravel into the night. I watched her taillights fade, the lake whispering secrets to the moon. Sweet revenge? Tasted like the first rain after drought. But Karen Voss wasn't done fighting. And her next move? It'd drag us both through hell. Friday dawn gray, the kind of sky that presses down like a thumb on your chest. I woke to my phone buzzing off the nightstand, voicemails from numbers I didn't know. Jake Harlan? Channel 7 News. Heard about the cabin controversy. Care to comment? Then text from buddies. Dude, your showdown's trending. Lake Karen Gate. I scrolled X, chuckling at the memes. Karen's billboard face photoshopped onto a snarling pit bull, captioned when the HOA hits back. Viral. That's what I'd wanted. But as I brewed coffee on the camp stove, power still off-grid by choice, the thrill soured. Ramirez texted, heads up, Voss filed a counterclaim. Slander. Says you fabricated docs. Fabricated? The nerve. I drove into town, the old F-150 rattling like my nerves. First stop, the library, digging through microfiche for Grandpa's era. Yellowed articles popped up. Harlan family donates access path, preserves shoreline legacy. Quotes from Mayor back then, generous gift to the community, but title remains private. Ironclad. Next, the lawyer. Not some ambulance chaser. Elena Vasquez, a shark in heels who gotten my cousin off a DUI back in 18. Her office overlooked the lake from the wrong side. HOA turf. Jake, she drawled, southern transplant with a drawl thicker than Karen's fake one. This is gold. Encroachment like that? We sue for triple damages, clear title, maybe even punitive for the harassment. Sue. I rubbed my jaw, stubble rasping. Thought I'd handle it quiet. Make her squirm. Elena laughed, a throaty sound like bourbon over ice. Quiet? Boy, she's already lawyered up to her pearls. Her firm spinning it as David versus Goliath. Poor HOA widow versus greedy developer. You want quiet, you need leverage. Leverage. She laid it out. Demand a retraction, public apology at the next board meeting. Or escalate. Petition to dissolve the HOA's waterfront claims. Open it up for public access for real. Let the plebs picnic on her precious view. I like that. Poetic. Do it. But slow roll. Give her rope. By noon, Elena fired off the letter. Cease all interference or face litigation. CC'd to the board, the paper, hell, even the governor's office for good measure. I imagined Karen's face, purple as a bruise, when it landed in her inbox. She didn't wait long to swing back. Afternoon brought the surveyors. Hers this time, 3 suits and khakis tromping my site like they owned it. Ms. Voss commissioned a re-survey. The lead one said, all clipboard confidence. Preliminary findings suggest boundary ambiguity. Ambiguity, my left foot. I cross my arms, blocking their tripod. Get off my land. Or I call Ramirez. They huffed, but retreated, tails tucked. Victory? Short-lived. Evening news hit at 6. Lakeside showdown. HOA battles vet over dream home. Footage of Karen, teary-eyed on her deck, dabbing with a monogrammed hanky. He's tearing at the heart of our community. I just want peace for my family. Family? Her empty nester mansion screamed otherwise. The comments exploded. Support Karen. Keep our lake pristine. Vets get enough handouts. Back off. My blood boiled. Handouts? I'd earned every scar. I fired back online. Careful, Elena's orders. Posted the plat map, Grandpa's article, with caption, Truth Tears. On the shore. Retweets poured in, locals chiming. Knew the Harlans held that land. Boss tried to buy me out. Shady AF. Momentum shifted. By midnight, Karen Gate trended local, with national pickup from some podcaster sniffing red meat. I crashed hard, dreaming of loons mocking her sobs. Saturday was market day in the village square, farmer stalls, fiddlers on corners, the smell of cider donuts cutting the chill. I wandered, needing air, when I spotted her, Karen at the bakery booth, charming the crowd like a politician. Support our petition. Save Willow Lake. She thrust flyers, her laugh forced as a bad sitcom. Our eyes locked. She faltered, smile cracking. Mr. Harlan, come to gloat. Nah, shop. I grabbed a dozen cider cakes, paid the vendor, a Harlan sympathizer who slipped me extra. Heard about your survey. Find any ambiguities in your own backyard? Her eyes narrowed to slits. You think this is funny? My life's work. Your life's work is screwing folks like me. I stepped closer, voice low, so only she heard. That resort pitch? Grandpa turned it down 'cause he saw your type coming. Vultures and pearls. She recoiled like I'd slapped her. How dare? Truth hurts, Karen. 24 hours up at sundown. Apologize, or watch your empire crumble. I walked away, cider warm in my pocket, her stare burning my back. The square buzzed, whispers following me like shadows. That's the guy. Kick Karen's ass. Empowered, I hit the hardware store for roofing tin, chatting up the clerk about old times. Your pa fished with mine, he said, loading my cart. Harlan's always straight shooters. Straight enough. I grinned, but inside the betrayal gnawed. This wasn't just land, it was legacy, and she was pissing on the grave. Back at the site, I worked solo, nailing shingles under a sky bruising purple. The cabin took shape, a defiant silhouette against the dusk. Phone pinged. Elena. Boards fracturing. 2 members want out. Your proof's airtight. Good. Let him scatter. Then, headlights pierced the gloom. Not Karen's Escalade. A pickup, Ramirez behind the wheel. He hopped out, thermos in hand. Coffee? Or was it whiskey o'clock? Both. I took the thermos, steam curling like ghosts. We sat on the porch bones, lake murmuring below. She's cracking, he said after a sip. Called the station again. Wanted me to escort you off. I told her to pound sand. I snorted. Pound what now? He chuckled. Figure of speech. But seriously, Jake. Her ex? He's talking to reporters. Says she forged docs in the divorce. Hiding assets in the HOA slush fund. Slush fund. Now it made sense. The fines, the kickbacks. She's toast. With butter. He paused, serious. But watch your back. Types like her? They burn bridges when cornered. Burn bridges. The words hung, heavy as fog. I nodded, but sleep came fitful that night. Dreams of flames licking the pines. Sunday brought the storm, literal and not. Rain lashed the tin I'd just laid, drumming a war beat. I hunkered inside the frame, tarps flapping like sails. Power out. Radio crackling with weather warnings. Flash flood watch. Evacuate low areas. Low areas. Like the HOA docks, built too close. I smiled grimly, imagining Karen's panic. She texted, First contact, emergency board meeting. 2 p.m. Your presence requested. Requested. Cute. I showed, soaked to the skin, dripping on her Persian rug. The boardroom, her converted sunroom, reeked of potpourri and desperation. 5 members, all pinched faces, Karen at the head like a deposed queen. Mr. Harlan, she started, voice syrupy, we'd like to discuss compromise. Compromise? I towel my hair water pooling. Thought you crushed insects. Murmurs rippled. The treasurer, a mousy guy named Phil, cleared his throat. Karen, perhaps we should. Silence, she snapped, but it lacked bite. Her eyes darted to the door, like rescue might burst through. I laid it out casual as coffee talk. Here's the deal. Public apology. Tonight's emergency session, streamed. Retract all claims. Dismantle your legal fence. Or tomorrow, Elena files. Encroachment, fraud, the works. Oh, and I'll countersue for defamation. The 911 call could have gotten me shot. Gasps. Karen's knuckles whitened on the table. You wouldn't. Try me. I met her gaze, unblinking. This ends now. Your way or mine. The room fractured. Votes tallied. 3-2 against her. Apology it is, Phil said, avoiding her glare. She rose, chair toppling. This is mutiny. I'll dissolve the board myself. Do it, I said. From unemployment. She fled, sobs echoing down the hall. The others sagged, defeated. Sorry, Jake, one muttered. She steamrolled us. Steamrolls over. I nodded, stepping into the rain. Victory tasted like wet earth, real raw. But as I trudged back, thunder cracking overhead, doubt crept. Was this revenge, or just the start? Karen Voss didn't lose gracefully. And grace? She'd never had it. Monday morning, the lake gleamed post-storm, debris floating like confetti. I surveyed the damage. A few shingles loose, but solid. Work resumed. My crew back, morale high from the weekend's drama. Saw the petition signatures. Big Mike grunted, heaving beams. Half crossed out, property values mad on my ass. We laughed, hammers ringing like bells. By lunch, the roof was sealed, walls chinked. Home, almost. Then the call. Unknown number. Mr. Harlan? This is Dr. Ellis from Willow General. There's been an incident. My gut dropped. Who? Ms. Voss. Attempted. Self-harm. She's stable, but asking for you. Me? The room spun. Big Mike steadied me. Go. We got this. The hospital smelled of bleach and regret, fluorescent buzz drilling my skull. Karen's room. Private, of course, flowers wilting on the sill. She lay pale, for dripping, eyes hollowed like sockets. Jake. Whisper, not bark. I hovered in the door, fists clenched. What the hell, Karen? She turned, tears carving tracks. You win. All of it. Just go. Pity warred with fury. This woman, bully, liar, broken? Part of me thrilled. The Marine, the betrayed son. But the man? The one Dad raised? Why me? Guilt. She coughed weak. Pushed too hard. Lost everything. Job suspended, board ousted. Ex-lawyered up again. And you were right. About the greed. Greed. The word hung. Confession in a vacuum. I stepped closer, chair scraping. Then fix it. Apologize for real. Not for show. She nodded, spent. Tomorrow. Swear. I left, rain-slick streets blurring. Revenge? It curdled now, bitter as bile. Was this the hook I'd swallowed? News broke Tuesday. HOA president steps down amid scandal. Karen's apology streamed live, stilted, tearful, admitting the overreach. I was wrong. Mr. Harlan's land is his. I regret the pain. Comments flipped. Good riddance. Vet wins. My phone lit up. Congrats, interviews. Elena called. Case closed. Want a settlement? Nah, just the land. The cabin finished that week. Porch swing creaking under my weight. First fire crackling. Peace, hard won. But peace? Fleeting. Karen's incident lingered, a shadow on the water. Weeks blurred into the easy rhythm of completion. The cabin stood proud, chimney puffing lazy smoke as frost etched the windows. I'd sunk a cooler of brews in the lake for chill, stocked the pantry with venison from a buddy's hunt, and even strung lights along the dock, twinkling like stars fallen to earth. Neighbors trickled by, tentative olive branches. Nice build, Jake. Heard about Karen. Sorry for the hassle. I nodded, civil, but kept the gate locked. Trust? Earned slow. Work dried up in the off-season. Carpentry gig sparse till spring thaw, but the quiet suited me. Mornings chopping wood, axe biting clean. Afternoons fly fishing, line whispering through mist. Evenings? Whiskey by the fire, Dad's voice in the crackle. You did good, son. Good. But the victory chafed, ill-fitting as new boots. Karen's face haunted the edges, pale in that hospital bed, stripped of armor. I'd won the war, but the spoils fell hollow. X still buzzed with Karen Gate aftermath. Exposés on HOA scams, petitions for reform. My story fueled it. Unwilling poster boy for the little guy. Reporters camped my voicemail. How's it feel to take down the queen bee? Felt like punching fog. Elena pushed the settlement anyway. $50K for emotional distress, her words. Take it. Buy solar panels or something green. I signed, wired the cash to a trust for the land. Perpetual, unbreakable. No more vultures. Christmas loomed, snow blanketing the pines like forgiveness. I hosted the crew at the cabin. Tree fell from my lot, strung with beer caps and dog tags. Big Mike raised a toast. To Jake, kicked ass, and named it. Laughter roared, but mine stuck halfway. Ramirez pulled me aside post-feast, stepping onto the porch slick with ice. Quiet night. Always. Wind nipped, lake frozen silver. Heard Karen selling. Whole McMansion. Moving to Florida. Florida. I barked a laugh. Gators'll eat her alive. He didn't smile. She's not well. Therapy meds. Doc says the incident was a cry, built up over years. Divorce gutted her. Then the HOA became her empire. Losing it? Triggered everything. Empathy twisted, unwelcome. She triggered me first. 911 on my own dirt. True. He lit a smoke, cherry glowing. But folks like her, they don't start mean. Life cars them that way. Husband cheated with a nanny. 20 years. Poof. Firm's board glass ceiling. Fought twice as hard as the men. Then you, the immovable object. I leaned on the rail, wood cold under palms. Doesn't excuse the poison. No. Exhale plumed white. Just explains. Watch yourself. She's got nothing left to lose. Nothing to lose. The warning settled like snow, heavy. New Year's brought a card. No return address, postmarked Albany. Inside, elegant script. Jake, apology wasn't enough. Enclosed, check for your damages. Start fresh. Kilovolt, $10,000, crisp as new lies. I burned it in the hearth, flames devouring the ink. Fresh, too late. Spring thawed slow, mud sucking at tires. Gigs picked up, restoring a barn for some tech bro downstate, and the cabin became sanctuary. I added a loft for guests, though none came. Solitude suited, or so I told myself. Then, May, blooming dogwoods, lake alive with base runs. I was elbow deep in a remodel when Elena called, voice tight. Jake, trouble. Voss is countersuing. Alleges you orchestrated a smear campaign. Hacked her emails, planted stories. Hacked. I nearly dropped the planer. That's bullshit. Her word against ours. But get this, she's representing herself. Pro-SE, citing betrayal by counsel. And she's got affidavits from ex-board members claiming you threatened them. Threatened? The mousy ones who'd caved? Rage flared, hot and familiar. When's the hearing? June. Small claims, keep it local. But Jake, she's unraveling. Filed addendums daily, conspiracy theories, even drag your military record. My record. Fallujah ghost stirred. She digs that grave, she lies in it. Elena sighed. Just be careful. This ain't about the money. It's personal. Personal. The word echoed as I drove home, wipers slapping rain. Karen Voss, clawing back from the abyss. Revenge reversed? I prepped like a op. Records boxed, witnesses lined, Ramirez, Gladys the clerk, even the surveyor. Nights, I poured depositions by lantern, the cabin's glow a bunker. June Court, county building, wood-paneled like a bad Western saloon. Judge Harlan, no relation, thank God, a grizzled type with a gavel like a hammer. Karen entered last, transformed. Hair loose, no pearls, suit hanging loose on her frame. Thinner, haunted. She caught my eye, pleading. Defiant? Hard to tell. Ms. Voss, Judge drawled, your filings. Creative. Proceed. She stood, voice steady but edged. Your Honor, Mr. Harlan didn't just build a cabin. He waged war, slandering me, coercing my board, even driving me to despair. Tears welled, theatrical. I lost my health, my home, because he wanted revenge for a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. I gripped the bench, knuckles popping. Her evidence? A binder of printouts, my ex-posts, twisted, blurry photos of intimidation at the protest. Then the kicker, a therapist's note, sealed, but she waived it. His actions exacerbated my breakdown. PTSD from the ordeal. PTSD. The word hit like shrapnel. Me, who'd earned it in sandpits, her claiming it over a lost fiefdom. Your turn, Mr. Harlan. Judge eyed me, fair but firm. Elena rose, shark again. Objection, relevance. Ms. Voss's health is tragic but irrelevant to defamation. And her claims? Fabricated. She laid out the timeline. Her 911 call first, my response defensive. Doc stamped, witnesses queued. Ramirez took the stand, badge gleaming. Ma'am initiated contact. Multiple 911s. False reports. Harlan cooperative. Gladys next. Deeds clear. Voss's firm inquired, declined. Karen cross-examined, voice cracking. But you admit he gloated? Film my vulnerability? Gloated? Ramirez snorted. Documented harassment, ma'am. Standard. She deflated, sinking into her seat. Recess called, coffee break, tension thick as fog. In the hall, she cornered me while died. Why won't you stop? I gave you everything, the apology, the check. Stop. I kept my voice low, hall empty. You started this. Cops on my land, lies to the news. This ain't revenge, Karen. It's cleanup. Her laugh was brittle shards. Cleanup? You're destroying me. My career gone. Friends? Ghosts. And for what? A shack. A legacy. I stepped back, door swinging. You bet on greed. Lost. Court resumed. Judge ruled swift. Ms. Voss, your suit lacks merit. Sanctions for frivolous filing. $5K to Mr. Harlan. Case dismissed. Gavel cracked. She froze, then fled, sobs echoing down the marble. Outside, rain again, Elena clapping my back. Over. For real. Was it? As I drove the slick roads, wipers chanting, doubt gnawed. Her face shattered. I'd won, but the cost? Summer scorched in, lakes shrinking to mudflats. I fished less, worked more, numbing the unease with sweat. Crew noticed, you good, boss? Fine. Lie easy as breathing. Then, August heat wave and knock at dawn. Amiras, hut and hunt. Jake, it's Karen. My stomach nodded. What now? Missing. 3 days. Car at the overlook. Note saying sorry. Search party's out. Sorry. The word chilled. I grabbed boots, joined the line. Volunteers combing brush, calls piercing the hum. Hours blurred. Ticks and ferns, false trails. Dusk fell, lanterns bobbing like fireflies. They found her at midnight, huddled by the water, hypothermic but alive. Delirious ramblings. Harlan. The land. Take it back. Hospital again. I didn't visit, couldn't. But the paper ran it. Ex-HOA heads breakdown. Community reflects. Reflects. Letters poured in. Forgive her, Jake. You pushed too far. Guilt, a stone in my chest. Fall returned, leaves turning traitor. The cabin felt vast, empty. I added a bench by the dock, Grandpa's spot, whittling sticks to pass time. One evening, as frost nipped, headlights cut the dark. Karen's Escalade? No. Her on foot, bundled in wool, gaunt as a specter. Jake. Voice raw, no bark. I rose slow, axe idle. Karen. You lost. She stopped at the tree lean, breath clouding. No. Found. From her coat, a folder. Yellowed maps, Grandpa's plat. It's yours. All of it. I bought the access road back. From the county. Gift deed. Gift. I took it hands numb. What? Redemption. Tears froze on lashes. You were right. Greed carved me hollow. Therapy. It's slow. But I see now. The land's not mine to hoard. Or hurt for. Words failed. Marine me wanted suspicion. Man me, grace. Sit. I nodded to the bench. Fire crackled nearby. Embers warding chill. We talked, halting honest. Her divorce demons, my war scars. Laughter even, brittle but real. Her admitting the 911 call was peak of a cornered cat. Dawn broke as she rose. Build big, Jake. For all of us. She walked away, figure dissolving into mist. I watched till gone, folder heavy in lap. Redemption? Maybe. Or just another layer. The town healed slow. HOA reformed, covenants gutted. My cabin? Expanded. A community spot. Open weekends for barbecues, kids splashing. Legacy shared. But some nights, whiskey in hand, lake whispering, I wonder, revenge or reckoning? The line blurs like fog on water. And Karen? Florida suited. Postcards came. Cheery. Gators are nicer. Healing, perhaps. Me? I built on. One nail, one dawn. Winter gripped hard that year. Snow piling like unpaid debts, burying the dock under drifts. I shoveled paths to the woodpile, breath fogging in the blue cold. Radio crackling forecasts of more to come. The cabin hunkered warm, stove glowing cherry red, but isolation crept in with the wind, howls through the eaves like accusations. Elena checked in weekly, settlement cleared. Want to chat expansion? I'd grunt affirmatives, but my mind wandered to that last talk with Karen, her gaunt frame vanishing into mist. Gift deed or guilt trip? Hard to parse. Locals warmed gradual. Hank's tap became ritual. Dart games with Ramirez, tails swapped over wings. Heard Voss settled in Tampa. He'd say, tossing back peanuts. Running a co-op now, ironic, huh? Teaching yoga to retirees. Yoga. I'd snort, chalking the cue. Her and downward dog? World's ending. He'd laugh, but his eyes held weight. She's trying, Jake. Like you said, reckoning. Reckoning. The word stuck, a splinter under skin. Spring brought thaw, mud sucking at boots as I cleared the lot for the community add-on. A pavilion, picnic tables, even a fire ring for Esmores nights. Volunteers pitched in. Big Mike hauling slate, the ex-board treasurer, Phil, showing with tools and apologies. Karen. She pushed us wrong. This helped square it. Squared. I nodded, hammering stakes, but the math never tallied clean. First event, Memorial Day bash. Trucks lined the access road. Now officially mine, gates swung wide. Smoke rose from grills, kids whooping as they launched into the lake, cannonballs splashing like applause. I manned the cooler, passing brews, playing host in flannel and jeans. Harlan, that cabin's a beaut. Old Mrs. Jenkins hugged me, bird feeders clinking in her bag. For the feeders, promise? Plumted in my selfie. I grinned, genuine now. As dusk painted the water pink, Ramirez sidled up, plate heaped with ribs. Crowd's good. No Karens in sight. Yet, we chuckled, but then, heads turned. A rental sedan, dust-caked, pulling cautious to the gravel. Her, Karen Voss, out of place in capris and a sun hat, totes slung like armor. Thinner still, but color in her cheeks. Florida sun? She scanned the crowd, spotting me, waved tentative as a flag of truce. Whispers rippled. Is that Voss? Here. I wipe hands on jeans, stealing. Hey, Jake. Smile shy, no pearls in sight. Her about the opener. Thought. Maybe I could help. Help. Echoed, suspicious. She nodded, unpacking the tote. Pies, apple and pecan, lattice crust golden. Baked them. Therapy homework. Mend fences. Corny, I know. Corny. I took a slice, fork-piercing sweet. Not bad. For CEO. Ex-CEO. She shrugged, joining the circle. Awkward at first, laughs forced. But Phil clapped her back. Karen, pass the mustard. And just like that, ice cracked. Night deepened. Fireflies winking. Fiddler striking up Sweet Home Alabama on a borrowed guitar. Karen sat periphery, nursing a soda, eyes on the flames. I join her, logs popping sparks. Tampa treating you? Hot, humid, honest. She poked the embers. Running that co-op, community garden, low-income plots. Turns out, dirt heals. Heals. I echoed, staring at stars, pricking the black. You here for good? Visit. Testing waters. Pause heavy. Missed this lake. The fight in it. Fight. The old rage flickered but dim. Waters run deep. She nodded, tears glinting, not crocodile real. I drowned in mine. The lawsuit. That was bottom. Woke up in rehab, doc saying ego death. Cliché but true. You didn't just win land, Jake. You won me a mirror. Mirror. Reflection stared back. Me, the revenger, scarred same as her. Didn't set out to break you. I know. Hand on mine, brief, warm. That's why I'm here. To say thank you for not finishing the job. Job. Revenge is endgame. I squeeze back once. We're square. The party wound down, taillights fading into night. Karen lingered, helping stack chairs. Build more, Jake. This place, it's bigger than us. Us. Plural now. She drove off, sedan humming south, and I stood dockside, waves lapping like absolution. Summer unspooled golden. Pavilion-packed weekends, laughter echoing off pines. I guided tours for school groups, Harlan history, kids. This river? Fed generations. Elena partnered for legal clinics, pro bono for folks HOA'd into corners. Your legacy, she teased over coffee. Reformer now? Builder. Simple truth. Fall painted fiery, harvest moon rising fat. A letter arrived. No stamp, slipped under door. Karen's script. Tampa's home, but Willow's heart. Enclosed, seeds for the co-op plot. Plant 'em here, tomatoes defiant as you. Grateful. K. Seeds. I tucked them in soil by the pavilion, mounding earth gentle. Winter would test them, but roots run deep. That December solstice, snow light, I hosted solstice. Lantern strung, mulled wine steaming. Crowd swelled. Ramirez with his girl, Big Mike and crew, even Phil with a date. Story spun, ghost tales, Harlan lore. As midnight told, fireworks cracked over the lake, blooms of red and gold. Then, quiet, embers low, stars sharp. A figure approached. Karen again, bundled, cheeks flushed from cold or wine. Couldn't stay away. She handed a thermos, cider, spiked right. We sat bench, lake frozen mirror. Seeds took, I said. Greenhouse starts. Good. Smile soft. Defiant. Silence companionable. Wind sighing pines. Jake. About that night. The gift. Yeah. Not guilt. Gratitude. You gave me back myself. Myself. Echoed in chest. Ditto. She leaned, head on shoulder, platonic, healing. We watched Aurora faint, green veils dancing. No words needed, some debts paid in peace. Dawn crept, pink on white. She rose, hug fierce. Keep building. Will. Promise to her, to dad, to the land. She vanished into light, tracks fading in fresh powder. I turned inside, stove waiting, plans unrolled. Loft library, maybe a dockside stage. Revenge? Ancient history, ash and wind. What remained? Riverfront mine, but ours, community carved from conflict. Bitter end for Karen? Nah. Redemption sweeter, earned slow as seasons. And me? First light on water, hook cast true. Life, after all, just another build. The end? Nah, just the hook.